We'll go live. Can you, okay, yeah, it looks like it did finally reconnect. So, wow. Yeah, are there other people here?
No, it's just me.
It's just Amber. Howdy, folk! Individual, single person Amber. Well, we'll see. Can you see if the audio is working all right, just so that
I
it.
mean, it's not showing anything yet. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me grab my headphones. I'll see if the audio is working for you.
Ooh, we got 50%. There must be another
Yeah,
person
there's
in
another
here.
person in here now. I mean, I was tempted to go for the indoors option because I always just like being indoors and it's always too cold except for the summer, but
Yeah. Welcome, one and all, to March's live stream. We're happy to see you here. I know you're hiding somewhere. Hello, Nico.
yeah, there's definitely audio coming through. I can't tell how good it is. My
Can you hear us all right? Does it sound fine? So, as you know, I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here is some March live stream. Oh, good. I'm glad that you can hear us fine. So, I guess we'll be ready to
Ooh, we're up to
ready.
3 votes and
Oh,
it's 3 ways now.
oh, three ways. There's more people filtering on. We'll see who's up next. Anyone going to take credit for that? Welcome whoever the mystery person is. We're happy to have you. Let's get started. Let's get started. We've had enough shenanigans. We'll find out what spring activity everyone wants to do, and we'll go from there. We got a three-way split. Somebody likes bike riding. All right, folks, and our first ridiculous story is titled, I'm a 25-year-old female and my best friend, a 24-year-old male, proposed to me. I'm conflicted and mortified. Where can we go from here? So I'm not going to read the TLDR. We'll just jump straight into the letter. Frankly, I'm still in shock that this happened, so this might be all over the place. Bear with me. All fake names, etc., etc. Jordan and I met in university 2 years ago, and we both started at the same time because our ages were both considered mature student. So we quickly became firm friends, and we shared a dorm, and we would joke around with each other about us being old enough to be considered mature in our early 20s. We weren't on the same course, but we did live together. We would hang out pretty much all the time whenever we didn't have a lecture. We joined a bunch of societies together, we went drinking every weekend together, etc., etc. It was a pretty sweet gig because it meant that we were at least never alone. Obviously, we made other friends along the way, both alone and together. But we were always each other's number one at the end of the day. At the moment that we're on spring holiday, oh, at the moment we're on spring holidays for Easter. And while we haven't hung out consistently, we decided to make plans to visit each other's hometowns because we're from very starkly different places. Today, we went to mine. Mine is a big city central. This morning, we went there and we were wandering down the streets doing some sightseeing because he has never been here. There's typically a lot of street sellers here trying to sell you everything from hot dogs to fluffy Pokemon hats. I decided that I wanted to get a character done. I've never had one, and I thought that it would be funny to get one and hang over my bed when we get back from term. I asked Jordan if he wanted to get in, and he refused. No worries, I sat down and I got it done. They didn't take very long, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, so I stayed and I looked straight at the artist the entire time. He finished the caricature. I loved it, so obviously I turned to show it to Jordan. Well, when I turned around though, I literally didn't even know what to say. He was down on one knee, holding up a ring box. I didn't even really know what he said, if the whole thing like a proposal speech was not done because I was so confused. I was barely paying attention. Remember again, this was super busy tourist city, so this had been a so it had drawn a mini crowd coming over to cheer us on. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. To be honest, I thought this was some kind of odd prank that he was doing. We have never had a prankster type of relationship whatsoever, but I couldn't come up with a reasonable explanation. So I just laughed and I laughed and I laughed until I looked at Jordan and he looked genuinely heartbroken. So obviously, I asked him something along the lines of, "You're not being serious?" This is the only thing that I remember him saying. He shut the box, stood up, shrugged, and said, "I guess not anymore," and then walked off. This left me standing pretty awkwardly in this gathered crowd of people. A lot of people were giving me dirty looks, which made me incredibly uncomfortable. The plan was to meet back up at a hotel that we had booked rooms at next to each other, so I figured that is where he was going and I head my way back. But he's not there, so I waited and he still didn't return. I text him out of concern, and this was at 1:15 p.m. It's currently 6:20 as I'm writing this, just asking if he is okay. He responds with this long message, which I would post because it's not to read, but I won't out of respect for his privacy, in which he basically accuses me of leading him on, asking why I didn't break up with him sooner, saying that I had publicly humiliated him, and that he thought that I loved him the same way, and that he felt our relationship was strong enough to consider taking the next step. Now, this has come out of left field completely. I literally have no idea where he would have gotten this idea from. The closest that we've ever been physically is a hug hello and goodbye. I've never even jokingly flirted with him for this exact reason. I've had too many friendships collapse because they can't tell the difference between seriously being interested in them and joking banter friendships type stuff. So I've been very careful. We've never kissed, we've never been on a date, we've never even been intimate. I do not find him physically attractive, and I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with him. I don't understand where in the earth that he's gotten this idea that we are a couple. This isn't something that he's ever brought up before, and I'm genuinely bewildered. He hasn't even returned to the hotel yet, and I periodically knock to check. And I've been listening out for him walking up to the hallway or anything. Nothing. I haven't responded to his long paragraph because, honestly, I don't know how to. I'm just stunned and taken aback that I genuinely have no idea where to go from here or what to even do. I haven't told anyone that I know in person yet, mostly because I don't want to bring this up to people who know Jordan. So here I am, turning to strangers on the internet instead. What in the world should I do? All right, folks, what do you think OP should do in this situation?
I mean, OP's been put in a really bad situation, and unfortunately, it sounds like the friendship is probably over.
Yeah.
It sounds like he read way more into this, which it makes zero sense. Like, I feel like sometimes people are in like relationships where they're not official, but there are still conversations to be had, and you definitely want to have like the official conversation like well before the whole proposal stage.
Yeah. Hello, Tuesday. Welcome. Yeah, I don't know where he got the idea that they were in a relationship because it sounds like OP made sure to be kind of guarded against that. If you're only hugging somebody, and I mean, some people do have like expectations that you're not going to be like too physically intimate until after marriage.
Right.
So,
And like if he was in like a religious environment or something like that. But again, those kind of like courtships are tend to be very carefully navigated and explicit. And the fact that it was never clarified that they were in a relationship, he just assumed that they were. Like he never took her on a date, romantic date. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if he thought that he could shoot his shot, and when it didn't work out the way he expected, or he was hoping to pressure her into like saying yes because there was like a crowd or something like that. I'm not really sure what his intentions here were, but it seems that there should have been some kind of discussion about what their future was going to be if he thought that proposing to her was going to be on the table, right?
right. Well, and even in established couples who have clearly established their relationships, usually have conversations about marriage and what they want in a proposal and those kind of things.
Yeah.
And like there was absolutely no discussion. So like clearly OP has done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
She's just been put in a really awkward and uncomfortable situation. And I feel really, really bad for her because that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best thing that she can do at this point in time is just cut her losses with the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. I mean, you're not going to be able to recover a relationship at this point in time, right? I mean, a friendship is not going to work out after this. He apparently has been pining after her for this entire time. He decided out of the blue to shoot his shot, see, and like he didn't even like go for the dating aspect of shooting a shot. He just went straight for the end final point on the relationship.
Yeah.
In his head, he was in a Hallmark Lifetime movie, and OP was in the real world.
Yeah.
And those two ideas, there's no way to mesh them, right? They're not
Mm-hmm.
going to work. Like, he's delusional about what the relationship status is, and he's expecting OP to have the same feelings, even though they never had a conversation about this. Like, this just feels manipulative. Is
Mm-hmm.
really what it does. I don't think that he ever. I mean, I don't know. I hate to put words in people's mouths, but I don't know how you can honestly expect that you're in a relationship when you've never had a discussion about being in a relationship.
Well, and I mean, it could also be that he is like dealing with some mental health struggles or something where he believes himself to be in a relationship and has memories of things that haven't happened or something like that.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, he does need to sit down and work through these troubles. But let me know what you folks think. I mean, it looks like mostly Nico just agrees with Amber, which I mean, this one's a strange one, folks.
It
It's a strange
is.
one,
It
right?
is.
All right. Speaking of strange, our next letter is titled "Am I a jerk for laughing and calling my ex dumb when he asked me to pay to cover up a tattoo that he got for me?" My ex-boyfriend got an intricate tattoo on his right forearm. It's my name, Glypherin. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry, folks. With a Lord of the Rings quote around it in Sardarian. And lastly, Hadia style orca in the center. My name, my favorite books, my favorite show, and my favorite animal. I did not ask him to get this tattoo. In fact, I told him not to get my name on him anywheres. He made it as his own choice. We broke up about 2 months after he got it. I got a better job in a different city. It's been about 6 months, and I guess that his current girlfriend took a picture of the tattoo and took time to interpret it. She hates it, and because he is a pushover, he wants to cover it up. He messaged me and said that I should pay to cover up the tattoo. I laughed and I called him dumb, and I said that he chose to get the tattoo all on his own and that I didn't owe him anything. I blocked him. We have mutual friends, and a couple think that I should help him out since my new job pays well. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. You did not ask him to get this tattoo. You didn't like twist his arm. He did this of his own volition. It sounds like against OP's advisement. Like, you don't have to pay for his bad decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what this boils down to at the end of the day. Like, he made a decision and he needs to live with that decision. OP even asked him not to do this. And it's really unfair for him to expect OP to pay for it or even to help to pay for it when OP made no such request. Like, it would be different if OP had been like, I totally want you to get this tattoo. Basically nagging him to get this tattoo, and then
Yeah.
suddenly he's like, okay, fine, we'll get it. And then OP like, oh, by the way, I've gotten a new job in a different city. Bye.
Yeah.
It'd be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think about that. We'll talk for another second because I mean sometimes there's a little bit of lag today, I think, so I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how far behind we are. But yeah. No other verdicts. Amber and I's authority are final. That's how we're going to run it today. A dictatorship. I like that. I like that. So our next letter is titled, "I've been married with my wife for over 15 years, and the ring I bought her was fake, and that was a fake diamond, and the entire time, and she still doesn't know." 1 second, folks. Throwaway account. I've been married to my wife for over 15 years now, and I've been holding onto this secret for far too long. The diamond ring that I gave her, very similar to the original one that she proudly wears every day, is not real. It's a fake, and she has no idea. I bought it thinking that I was doing something special for my bank account, but now I realize that it was a mistake. I can't keep pretending that it's okay when it's not, and I'm terrified of how she'll react if she finds out. So, folks, what kind of advice do we have here today?
I mean, I think it's probably best just to come clean with the option of an upgraded ring. I understand that this is a uncomfortable conversation to have. I understand the wife may have some very strong feelings about it. And there is a part of me that's like, well, what she doesn't know can't hurt you, and like maybe just try and get it like replaced, but I feel like that's not the ethical way to go.
Well,
Um
certainly, I don't think that that's the ethical way, but if he didn't want to, like, admit this, then he could always go take a picture of the ring, you know, and then have a jeweler come up with a custom diamond that looks like the current gem that he has in there, and then secretly swap it out. I don't think that that's good advice. I think
no.
that there's a high chance that he'll get caught doing that.
Well, and like I think he should come clean, especially
Mm-hmm.
because like other materials other than diamond, like there's a reason why diamond is used in engagement rings, and that's because diamond can take like a lot of wear and
Mm-hmm.
tear. Like whatever this other stone is, there's a good chance that over time it's going to degrade, and if she takes it to a jeweler to get it fixed, they're gonna tell her that's not a diamond.
Yeah. So I do think, I think Nico over here said telling her as soon as possible. If she finds out by herself, then it's going to be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the AFK pandas, like, come clean, try your best to work it out. I mean, I think those are all really good sound advices here. Like, I think going the sneaky route is probably not a good idea.
No. There's
And
so many ways it could go wrong, and
yeah,
at the end of the day, she deserves to know the truth.
yeah.
And like, I mean, hopefully this will be one of those things where they otherwise have a solid marriage and like there'll be some frustration initially, but then they can look back and laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So what OP needs to do is a heist. All right.
No
So
heist.
what he does is he goes to a jeweler, he gets a fake ring, completely fake made, right? And while she's sleeping, he replaces the ring that she has with the fake ring, then takes it to the jeweler to get the diamond replaced so that she won't actually know that the ring is missing, and then when she least expects it, swap them back. The heist completed, folks.
You know.
This is the good
This is
advice,
Brian's bad
the
advice.
only advice
No.
to take. So OP, no more guilt about not having a fake ring, because you through some crafty manipulation can make the odds fall in your favor. Speaking of crafty manipulation to make odds fall in your favor, am I the jerk for telling my sister a house built on a woman's tears will never last after she took my partner, as well as me stopping contact with her son? What did you miss, Amy? You missed some good stories. We missed like cheating, scandals, drama,
A friend proposing when they weren't in a relationship.
a friend proposing when they weren't in a relationship. All right. I don't know that this at all relates to my segue, but
I mean, I think it kind of works.
you think it kind of works?
I don't remember your segue now, but I remember thinking it was like halfway there.
Oh, and a heist. And a heist. Yes.
But that was all Brian's suggestion.
I'm a 24-year-old female, and I found out a few weeks ago that my long-term partner, a 24-year-old male, had slept with my sister twice while I was pregnant. He has relentlessly claimed that it was an accident. I don't understand how you can accidentally have intimate time with your fiance's sister and then date her while trying to mend our relationship for our child, which I have been open to the fact that I will allow him to be in our child's life, but I will not be in his as bridges are burnt beyond repair here. Anyways, my sister has tried to remain active in my pregnancy, but also my nephew, her son, a male 11 months, who I'll call K, or 11-year-old male. I'm not sure which one there.
11-year-old male, yeah.
I have full custody of K due to a mental breakdown and her use of substances after her partner died. He is aware of his real mom, but due to me raising her, he tends to call me mom. A couple days ago, it was my nephew's birthday. I invited my sister, as I always do, as she's the bio parent. But I also asked my ex, as he's played an active role in the kid's life, as he's been around from day one when he was born and has a bond with him as well. He asked for him to be there too. My personal circumstances and relationship will not impact my nephew's relationships, as they are separate from mine. Anyways, not everyone at this party was aware of the current situation, as I've tried to keep it under wraps and private for Kay and my sanity. Has to do as I don't want the stress of dealing with all the questions and other things. My sister broke down at his birthday. I removed Kay as quickly as I could, but she was screaming that it wasn't fair for me to keep her son and niece away from her. If I'm honest, I'm sick of being the villain in her life, and I snapped and calmly told her it wasn't fair for you to break my home by sleeping with my partner, then dating him to create your own home. But I hope you know a house built on another woman's tears will not stand. You'll lose him the same way you got him. He's your problem now. You could hear Kay scream and cry, claiming that she, my sister, isn't his mom to a family member who had him taken away since he's refused to see her. Most people were taken aback at what I said, and I said to my sister, as I told her the majority, that we ended the relationship. I said what I said to my sister as I told the majority that we ended the relationship amicably. But I am no longer embarrassed and ashamed. I've had support from this and people who are standing by me and the kids. However, people said that I shouldn't have said that and that I'm alienating Kay from his real mother, even though I've done everything in my power for them to remain in a relationship. But I can no longer deal with her outbursts, and I need to put my Kay's feelings first rather than her, as well as my own family. My mother has threatened to call social services if I do not allow Kay to see his mom, regardless of his feelings and wants, and has called me a selfish brat who ruins and poisons whatever I touch, to which I ceased contact after that final comment. I don't even know what is right or wrong anymore, but I am trying my best with the cards that I'm given. Alright, folks, what do you think of this?
No, I don't think Opie's the jerk here. I think she's been dealt a really not good hand here, and she's trying to make it work. Like, it must be so hard to see her sister and her ex in the house together, but she's trying to set that aside for the nephew. And it sounds like her sister has some troubles, but that is not on OP. I understand the sister wants more contact with the child she gave birth to, but it's through her, she's just not in a place where the court deemed she was not a fit parent, and she needs to put the needs of him above her own wants.
Yeah, this is a sad situation for the sister in some respects, right? I understand that she has struggles, and that's life sometimes, right? Now, what she's doing is manipulative, and she's trying to claim that because she took some actions, right? She slept with OP's husband or fiance, and now she expects OP to just play happy family, right?
Right.
But OP doesn't want to be involved in their life like this, and she should be allowed to draw those boundaries.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you can't expect to maintain a good relationship with your sibling if you sleep with their partner.
Yeah.
That is a completely unreasonable expectation, and I don't know why she thought that would work in her favor.
Well, and then on top of that, I think OP is being very kind here. Most people wouldn't even want to be in the same room as their affair partner, the other woman, and their ex and whatnot, right?
Well, that's the thing. Is like, it really feels like OP is the only one in the situation who is trying to put the nephew first and really thinking about what is in his best interest. And honestly, at this point in time, she is way more of a maternal figure to him, and it shows.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like she's doing everything she can to protect him and try and help him maintain healthy relationships, but also let him set his own boundaries.
Yeah.
And at 11, he's old enough to start deciding who he wants to see and who he doesn't want to see. And if he doesn't feel like his mom is a safe or good person to be around, I think this says a lot.
Yeah. So what do the comments have to say, Amber? I'll let you read them this time.
So the AFK Panda says, not the jerk, OP is working really hard while everything is burning around her. And Amy says, ha ha ha, I think everyone is, because originally I said everyone, and then AFK Panda corrected it, and then Amy Lynn's graphic says, ha ha ha, I think everyone is applicable to the story too. And then the AFK Panda said, touche.
Yeah, touche indeed. Touche indeed. All right, folks. And our next letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Cause My Fiancé Financial Harm? I know, folks. We're in for another spicy one. All right, throwaway for privacy reasons. I'm a 29-year-old female, and I found out that my fiancé, a 32-year-old male, has been cheating with multiple women while I was working my butt off to support him. I will be leaving him as soon as I can move into my new apartment, which will be in 6 days from now. I haven't told him that I know, nor do I plan to. If he finds a way to contact me after I leave, I'll simply tell him that I don't want to marry him. I have booked a moving service, and the plan is to meet him outside after he comes back from work, tell him that I need the car, he usually takes mine to go to work, and then take the car keys, leave, and block him on everything. I am not on the lease, which is only in his name, not uncommon in my country, so I can just leave, and he won't be able to do anything about it. The apartment will be lacking essential stuff because he goes home as because when he goes home, as I was the one who purchased most of the things and will be taking everything with me. I told my best friend, and she says that I'm being too cruel as my fiance is currently in a very bad spot financially. He lost his business and is in debt. He cannot afford or rent or groceries. He had to sell his car and currently uses mine to get to work. I'm doing okay financially, so I've been helping him by paying 100% of the rent, utilities, and groceries until he gets paid. He started his job just a few days ago. Now, I won't be paying this month's rent, which is due in 2 weeks, but he doesn't know it. He'll probably lose his new job as I'll take the car away and it's not accessible by public transit, which would take him 2.5 to 3 hours to go one way versus 30 minutes by car. I'll go as far as taking away our special mattress that he needs for his bad back because I was the one who paid for it. Even when he does get paid, he won't be able to afford rent and utilities on his own as his job is not a well-paying one. He might end up homeless. Will I be the jerk if I do this? The breakup is inevitable, so please don't tell me to work things out and to talk to him about it. I'm only asking about the financial side of things. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, you don't have to financially support someone who is cheating on you, you know. I mean, he made the conscious choice to cheat on OP, and he can't expect to keep benefiting financially from this arrangement by treating her like garbage.
Yeah.
You know, I think the moment he decided to start, cheating, he gave up any claim to OP's help or support. You know,
Yeah,
it's not her responsibility to make up for the fact that he has had financial troubles. It's not her responsibility to do any of that stuff.
Yeah. First, I want to say, hi, Sakura. Welcome. Now, also, I want to say, I agree. I mean, I think that this is a situation where he kind of made it his own bed. And I feel bad on the level that I don't like to see people go homeless and I don't want to see people suffering and whatnot. But he's been cheating on her with multiple women and stuff like that. And I mean, this is one of those situations where, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Right. And to be fair, it's always nice to give someone a heads up, but OP may have her reasons why she doesn't feel like he's trustworthy enough to give a heads up.
Yeah.
Like he might try manipulating her, getting money out of her somehow, taking her things.
Well, in abusive situations, I'm not saying that this is, because OP doesn't give any indication that it is, but if someone were in an abusive situation, that would be a really good reason to leave without saying that you were leaving.
Yeah,
right?
So there absolutely 100% are situations where the right thing to do is not say anything.
Yeah.
And I do not have enough information on OP's situation to say whether that's the case or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult, right? I mean, I think that OP is being a little bit vindictive, but also I can't blame her for being vindictive when she's taken and supported this guy for who knows how long, only for him to basically stab her in the back like this, betray her trust. And she's not obligated to keep supporting somebody who did this to her, right?
Right. Well, and why would he get to continue to use her car that she needs and all this stuff? It doesn't make any sense.
And my only concern here is if OP has the evidence about the cheating or not, what kind of evidence she has, because it depends if he is actually cheating or not, because what happens if he were doing something like arranging a surprise party for her, right? And then,
I'm assuming Opie knows.
yeah. As long as OP is 100% sure that he is cheating and that this isn't just a circumstance of him arranging like a surprise or something else behind their back, because OP hasn't confronted them about the cheating and they haven't, admitted it. But I'm assuming, like you, that OP is aware and knows fully that he is cheating. But what does everyone have to say about this one?
So Amy Lynn says maybe he shouldn't have cheated and he deserves to be messed over financially by OP, which she really isn't doing. I'm not sure I'd want the mattress if he's had adult fun time with other women, which is fair point. And then the AFK Panda says, not the jerk, just dissociate from him if you can.
Yeah, I mean, not much you can do in that kind of situation, and hopefully OP finds a better life away from him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Writing a Book Without Telling My Fiance First? And choosing my dead-end hobby over him when he made me choose. I'm a 29-year-old female, and I've been with my fiance for 4 years, and we are planning on getting married in November. We've been living together for the past 2 years, and everything has been great. Minimal arguments and conflicts. Well, about 6 months ago, I started writing a romance book with a friend. The book is about the life of a narcissistic man and what were his thought processes when he was in the when he was his victims was with his victims. I'm sorry. I'll just start that sentence over again. This book is about the life of a narcissistic man and what his thought process was when he was with his victims, and how with time he learned his lesson when he got his karma and when he met someone like him. I gathered this information from several narcissists that were interviewed. I study psychology, so I enjoy learning the whys of why people do what they do, and I made a story about it. Well, here's the thing. I didn't tell my boyfriend about it. I expected this to be a surprise for him, as I had voiced that I wanted to write before. I told him once that I had published it, and I told him once I had published it and gotten a copy from it. I was really proud, and he got so angry. He didn't even open it and said that the plot was stupid and that nobody would want to read it. That it's stupid. And that he asked me why I didn't tell him before writing it. Because it was so embarrassing that he will be married to a starving writer. And that I should consult him of every decision that I make because he's my future husband. Then he goes on to saying that I am embarrassing him and his family by being a writer, and said that no one would put up with a woman that did things behind her husband's back. He got to the point that he made me choose between my book and him. He said that I needed to pull it out and forget it. I opted to out of impulse, and I told him that our relationship was done, and so was the engagement. I grabbed a few things and I left my parents, as I don't have anywhere else to go. He has told everybody about it, and they're making me feel guilty, including my parents. Everyone is saying that he is right. That is why I would be compromising why would I be compromising my stable future for something that I will probably fail at, and I should do as he says. I told them that I would rather live on the streets than go back. I'm debating here if I'm the jerk here for throwing away 4 years of a relationship for something that I will probably fail at. He's been blowing up my phone, and here are the most recent texts. So, all right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, not the jerk. I mean, I imagine that there is a reason why Opie didn't tell him until she was done. It doesn't sound like he's a supportive partner at all, and his whole, you need to run everything by me because I'm your future husband. Like, there are some serious elements of control here. It's fine not to love your partner's hobbies, but it's not fine to belittle them and demean them.
Mm-hmm.
And to be like, you're an embarrassment, you're going to be, a starving writer, and like all the nasty things he said, like none of that is what you want to say to is what you say to someone you love.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's really unfortunate because he could have taken a moment that was supposed to be a surprise and turned it into like a happy memory, but instead he basically derides OP and insults them. Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg for this type of behavior. I just can't imagine how he's going to react when OP does something else, right? And like, OP's gonna basically have to live their life under his thumb.
Well, that's what he literally said. Like, you need to run all your choices by me.
Like,
Like,
that means that OP should have no agency, no, self-direction in this relationship. He doesn't want a wife. He wants a robot.
mm-hmm,
And OP is better off not having this relationship. I mean, this guy is just literally telling her his whole game plan right here, right?
mm-hmm.
He's given away the whole plan. She is going to be his Stepford wife. But what do the comments have to say?
Uh, so Amy Lynn's graphic says, "Not the jerk, and I'd reconsider this marriage. Book wins. You can find a supportive husband who will appreciate your writing. That you can." Sakura says, "Not the jerk. Block the gaslighting jerk." And the AFK Panda says, "Not the jerk. Just know your ex is a sad joke."
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for asking to borrow my girlfriend's car after I made fun of it? My girlfriend is a very practical person and has the attitude of as long as it runs, she doesn't care, and kind of mentality towards cars and most things in general. I guess I'm having a struggle today reading, folks. I'm sorry. I am an amateur mechanic and I really like cars. Currently, I'm driving and I'm working on my BMW 535i. My girlfriend has a 2015 Toyota RAV4, which she bought new. I have joked that it is ugly and this has made her mad. I mean, I didn't think that she took it seriously. My parents live in the mountains now, and my mom had her tonsils removed after frequent strep throat infections. I wanted to visit her, but there was a lot of snowfall, which froze, and my car is rear wheel drive. I asked to switch cars with my girlfriend, and she said no. When I asked her why, she told me that I kept making fun of it, that I hadn't made fun of cars for months, and that it was ridiculous that she still remembers it and is making a big deal out of borrowing her car. I argued with her, but she wouldn't budge and told me to rent a car if it was such a big deal. Last minute rentals are like $150 a day, and I plan to stay overnight. $300 for a 3-hour drive seems crazy, and I offered to pay her $100 for her car for the weekend, but she shut that down. I feel like she's being childish. Am I the jerk here for making fun of her car? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Again, like, you don't get to make fun of her practical vehicle nonstop and then expect to have use of it. Like,
Yeah.
OP chose to buy an impractical car that he likes aesthetically. He chose to belittle his partner. Repeatedly, it sounds like, oh, I haven't, like, teased her in a while. Makes it sound very clear that he's, like, been doing this up until recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like he's not necessarily in the wrong for asking, but for not accepting her no, yes, he's in the wrong for that. And for the harassing, like, comments, that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we weren't there to hear how he made fun of them, and maybe it came across a lot differently to him than her, because there are some people who do have like this jokey mentality of like, haha, a gentle teasing, gentle rubbing, type of thing, where they're not meaning to be hurtful, but they don't understand that they are being hurtful, right? And I think that if OP wrote this without the impression that he was being hurtful, then maybe she never talked to him and never said,
Well,
voiced her feelings.
based on the way the story is worded, it sounds like he knew he was, like, getting on her nerves and was doing it intentionally to get on her nerves. But even if he wasn't, like, that's a nice learning lesson for him, that you don't get to, like, repeatedly make fun of someone's car and then just expect to use it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, how good is the car now that he needs it, right? I mean, he's not making fun of the car now that he needs to borrow it.
Right. I mean, I think this is a good learning lesson for him, that not everything is about aesthetics, and sometimes it pays to be practical.
Yeah. Yeah. But what do the comments have to say?
So Sakura says, I mean, I didn't think she took it so seriously. Dude, what did you expect? Amy Lynn's graphics says, you're the jerk. You bit the hand that fed you. Suddenly this tacky car is looking pretty good now that your fancy car is out, eh?
Yeah.
And then Sakura says, you're the jerk. OP messed around and found out. And the AFK Panda says, you're the jerk. It's almost like actions have consequences. Don't act like you don't need to apologize.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely needed to apologize and definitely needed to, like, make amends. So I think that he he messed around and he found out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of messing around and finding out, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for excluding my sister from my wedding? Okay, strap in, because this has been nothing but nonsense for me. I'm a 24-year-old female and I got engaged a few months ago. I'm in my early planning stages. And my mother, a 50-year-old female, has been trying to make herself part of the wedding planning. I've tried to let her be involved, but we've reached an issue that we can't agree on and I need some help. My mom and I have a complicated relationship. She spends most of my life abusing substances or using substances and finally became clean after going through a third or fourth rehab program. She got out when I was 15 and I felt like I finally had my mom back. The other one of her roomies from rehab called her up saying that her dog had puppies. That's when my mom adopted Bella, who is now 8. Everything she did became centered around that dog, not her real children. I have a younger half sibling through her. She cared more about what the dog ate and if the dog was alone, and she takes it literally everywhere, even businesses and other places that she's not supposed to, falsely claiming that it's either a service animal or an emotional support animal. That dog basically became her new baby. Now, if you're wondering where my sister comes into all of this, it's not my half sibling. He's a guy. My sister is the dog. The dog. My mom showed me pictures of the little doggy dresses and a couple of weeks ago because she wanted my opinion on which one Bella should be wearing to my wedding. I told her that Bella won't be in my wedding, and she literally said, "But she's your sister." I lost my patience at this point, and I told my mom, as nicely as that I could, that her dog is not my sister and that animals are not welcome at my wedding and will not be welcome on the premises of the venue at any time during the setup, ceremony, reception, or cleanup, and that if she brings Bella, I will make her turn around and take her back home. My mom threw a fit, cussing and crying about how I'm being a terrible daughter and a terrible sister, about how I am excluding my sister from the wedding, and that I don't have to be so difficult about one little dog. This has now caused an argument between her, me, and my grandma and my 2 aunts. Then she posted on the whole mess to her Facebook page, and random people in our local community are chiming in. I told her that she was being childish and that this was incredibly embarrassing and that she needed to take the post down. And that then she just made another post quoting that line from the Bible about obeying your parents. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know if she's insane or if I'm just out of touch or something. Who is the jerk here? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think OP's in the wrong for not wanting this dog in her wedding. I understand the dog is important to her mom, but it's a dog, and it's also the dog that her mother has paid more attention to than either of her actual, like, human offspring.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand. I mean, OP is not even being mean to the dog or anything. Like, I can understand, like, not feeling good about having the dog that your mom has basically, like, replaced you with
Yeah.
at your wedding.
Yeah, I think that this is a little bit of an extreme situation. I think that OP needs to talk with their mom, and maybe her mom needs to go into some therapy and work through some things because this is a little bit of an unhealthy attachment to the animal. And like I do know that some people treat animals like they are a pet, but I mean not like a pet. Of course they treat them like they're a pet, but they're like they're their children. And sometimes people use the terminology of like, oh, I'm a fur parent or something like
Yeah,
that,
it's my
right?
fur baby.
But I think that usually has limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas she is treating this animal as if it's literally her child. And I think to the detriment of her real children.
Well, and that's, I think, where the big issue comes, is that she had actual little humans who were depending on her, and she instead chose to focus on this dog. And I understand that the dog probably had a lot of significance for her, coming from a friend who went to recovery with her. But, and that she probably does need a lot of therapy and whatnot to help her. It sounds like the dog, she has become like a coping mechanism and not a
Mm-hmm.
healthy one, and again, to the detriment of her actual human children. Like, if she didn't have children, I would be less concerned with the situation. But the fact, like, OP was 15 and her half sibling, I don't know how old they were, but she had actual minors
Yeah.
who depended on her,
Yeah.
who she couldn't be there for because she was focused on making sure the dog had everything.
Yeah, exactly. But what do the comments have to say?
So Amy Lynn Graphics says, not the jerk. This is so extra. I mean, I love my dog, but Clementine is my dog and a pet, and I'd never insist on anyone treat her the same as a child. I'd rethink inviting mom. The AFK Panda says, not the jerk. There's rules for a reason. Irony everywhere here. Sakura says, not the jerk. Obey your parents. Your kids are not servants. And Amy Lynn Graphics says, I would report with parents. Don't exasperate your kids.
I think that's fair. I think that's very, very fair. Speaking of exasperation, our next letter is titled, My husband threw all of my backless dresses and tops away because I'm too old for this stuff now, and I feel disrespected, but everyone agrees with him. I came home from work last Monday and I found that my husband was doing some spring cleaning. He has thrown away all of my backless dresses and tops, everything. I have some beautiful designer pieces in the mix. Rick Owens, Edrum, Ekney Studios, Jill Sanders, and some H&M limited editions from back in the mid and late aughts. I cried for days. I asked him why, and he said that I'm too old for this now, and that it was time I dressed more modestly. I'm turning 40 in June. My mom agrees with him. Basically everyone is. I cannot stand his existence close to me. I would never have dreamt about deciding anything about the way he is because he's an adult and I trust his judgment. They say that it's not the same at all. I feel infantilized to a horribly painful degree. All right, folks, what do you think?
OP, I think you are too old to stay with this horrible jerk.
Yeah.
You deserve better than this man.
The only thing OP is too old for is this nonsense that they're dishing out.
Exactly. Like, what you wear is up to you. And to throw away your partner's possessions without their consent is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Making unilateral decisions about what she can and can't wear, like, it makes me so frustrated. Like, this whole idea that there's some age at which you have to just all of a sudden cover up and be like a dowdy matron or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cool. And he's disrespected her on so many levels. He's disrespecting her property, her autonomy. He's not treating her like an equal partner. He's treating her like someone he can manage, a child.
Yeah. Well, I think that about sums it up, really, honestly. Like, this OP should be able to have their own agency. Was very disrespectful. If he wanted her to dress differently, I mean, that's certainly a conversation they can have.
Mm-hmm.
He can voice the complaint, but he doesn't have any right to throw away her stuff.
Yeah.
And OP could have made a decision to leave the relationship. And I mean, now he's forced her hand because I hope she does leave him because he's not a good individual. Like, a good partner doesn't throw away your stuff without talking to you, right?
Right.
And not to mention, like, throw things away. You could have also sold stuff, right? It seems like such a waste to just throw things out.
Well, yeah, it is bad for the environment, but I feel like that's beside the point.
Well, I mean, it is beside the point, but those have real world value, right? He owes her money beyond just the beyond the emotional distress that he's caused here. He owes her actual physical money. To reclaim that collection would cost her a lot of money and resources. So he has destroyed her property and he really needs to pay her. She should take him to small claims court.
Yeah.
She should file a police report.
I mean, if some of them were designer pieces, they might be worth a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
So
I just think that this is, like, he took away her opportunity to do anything that she wanted with these clothes, and I think that he should pay for it, quite literally. But what do the comments have to say?
So Nico says, you haven't finished and I just got to say, not the jerk. Sakura says, OMG, not the jerk, being in your 40s is not old. Why do people keep thinking this? The AFK Panda says, not the jerk, this is an adult, not a kid going to a private school. Amy Lynn Graphic says, not the jerk, how dare he toss your clothes away? I dump this misogynist. How dare he tell a grown woman how to dress? How much do you want to bet he's checking out scantily dressed 20-somethings?
I bet you're not incorrect.
And then Sakura says also, Women's Advice 101, never tell/force your spouse how to dress.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of telling people how not to dress, our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for telling my girlfriend that if she came to the gym with me, that she would feel better this summer? Almost. The segue almost works. I promise you, it almost works. My girlfriend, Nicole, is 24 and I'm 27. I'm not a gym rat, self-obsessed guy, but I do like to take good care of myself and my health. I work out 4 to 5 times a week and I try to eat healthy. My girlfriend does not seem to care about any of that, which is fine, but I'm so tired of hearing her complaints. She is a gorgeous girl and is super fun to be around most of the time. Well, last summer, when we were at the beach, she was all in her head about how she looked in a bikini. She didn't even go into the water. We were talking last week, and she wanted to plan a vacation. I told her, hey babe, want to come to the gym with me so that you can feel better this summer and not feel in your head like last year. She looked at me and said the most disgusting and hurtful thing to exist. I just had said the most disgusting and hurtful thing. Nicole is not big, but she's not toned and fit. She's about 130 pounds and 5'3"-ish. As a fitness enthusiast, I personally think that she would be perfect at 115. But obviously, I would never tell her that. I'm into super petite women, and she has a little bit of a mom build. She came to the gym with me, and to say the least, it was a bad experience for both of us. I was doing my usual routine, and she came right near me and started to use the machine. There was this woman who walked by, and she had a great athletic build, and I was admiring her physique in a fitness standpoint. I literally looked for not even 2 seconds. Nicole saw this because she was taking a sip of water, and I could tell that she was mad. So I told her, if you're going to turn this into that, then maybe work out alone. So she walked home and got her own membership. I think that she fears the confidence that I'm gaining and wants to sabotage me by causing an issue about jealousy. All right, folks, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, major jerk here. Like, this went to next level from, like, I mean, it was bad to begin with. The whole, like, body shaming. Like, BMIs are bogus anyway, but, like, she's a perfectly healthy weight. Like,
Yeah.
So just to be like, well, she'd be so much better at 115 pounds. Like, dude, just stop. If you don't like your partner as they are, don't be with them, but don't try to mold them. But then the whole, oh, I was just checking out this other woman's physique from a fitness standpoint.
Yeah.
We all know what you were doing. You were checking her out blatantly in front of your girlfriend. Of course she's going to be upset.
Well, and how dare his partner, who he invited to the gym with her, come to the same lifting area and station that he was at and spend time with him at the gym.
Yeah, clearly she's just supposed to go off and do her own thing so he can check out other women in peace.
Yeah.
And then the way he makes it at the end, and she's just trying to ruin me because I'm confident. It's like, no.
You aren't confident for staring at some other woman's physique, right? Admiring it. That isn't confidence. That's you ogling another woman in your girlfriend's view.
Yeah, that's being a creep. No one wants that at the gym. Like, just let other people be.
So I don't know what his deal here is, other than he's just like, and I love how he paints this whole thing like I'm doing her a favor, so that she's not in her head all the time about how she looks in a bikini. Maybe if he like complimented her, she would be less in her head about these things. Well,
exactly, but he can't do that because he is a fitness enthusiast and she has to meet his fitness standards.
So I just feel bad for this woman because she's dealing with this, right?
Yeah, like hopefully she finds a new partner who is not a jerk and likes her for who she is.
But what do the comments have to say?
Amy Lynn says, I hope Nicole dumps that man. He's body shaming the woman he's supposed to love. Oh no, not only did he convince her to go, but he's checking out other women in front of her. Dump this man, dump this man, dump this man. And Nico says, what the heck? And the AFK Fander says, you're the jerk. Oh no, this is fun. And then Sakura says, you're the jerk. The audacity from the last sentence. Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of wow, our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Burning Phallic Shapes into My Friend's Backyard. This wasn't today, but it was more like 15 years ago. One cool summer afternoon, me and a few of my friends on the block were hanging out, and we were more bored than usual. The topics of discussion were usually Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or wrestling. But today, someone mentions that they saw a cool video online, and apparently you can make a makeshift flamethrower out of a can of Axe body spray and a lighter. Very dangerous, don't do that. Being a group of degenerate 12-year-olds, chaos ensued. We got through the first can, just spraying a fire onto the air, and then on can 2, I had the bright idea to spray a bunch of Axe into a puddle and light it. We were mesmerized. We started writing our names in the yard and lighting it. Once the can spray burned up completely, nothing was left behind on the concrete, so naturally the names turned to curse words. Curse words got boring quick, so what else can we do? I thought. Then it hit me. The most creative and genius thing that my 12-year-old mind could conjure up. We started drawing phallic-shaped objects with the spray and lighting them on fire all over the yard. We laughed to the point of tears. When all was said and done, we packed up and we went home. All was right in the world, at least it seemed, until the first time it rained. You see, the spots in the concrete that were burned didn't get quite as saturated as the rest of the yard when it rained. That was the day that my buddy's mom opened up the back door to find her yard covered in curse words and crudely drawn Johnsons. There wasn't a single surface left untouched. Mom lost it, and we spent the whole next day washing the floor of the yard on our hands and knees. All right, folks, what do you think of this mess up?
I mean, at least it makes for a good laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's harmless, like, luckily no one got hurt, because I do not recommend playing with, like, making DIY flamethrowers, especially as a 12-year-old, but, like, since no one got hurt, it's fine.
Indeed. So, I'm going to jump to tea time, and then we'll have one last story. All right, folks, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I hope you have some kind of beverage of choice here. I have some tea. Amber has a joke, allegedly.
When going out for a night on the town, what did one bowling ball say to the other?
Well, I can tell you exactly what one bowling ball said to the other, because bowling balls are destructive by nature. They said, we're going to wreck this place. And they started to proceed to wreck the place, because that is how bowling balls do.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Let's rock and roll and destroy. So
now we're down to one final joke.
Yeah, there's one final joke left in Amber's joke book. I guess we're going to have to find out what we're reading next. So we got some elderflower tea. We got the punchline, roll out. And then, yeah, you were close enough. I mean, I think that works. I give you full marks. Full credit. And as for our poll, it looks like most people are still indoors because it's cold. I don't blame you. We go for walks, but it's cold walks.
Well, it just snowed like a few days ago, and there's still snow on the ground. Like, we thought everything was nice and springy. It was in the 40s, and like, spring came early. And then as soon as like official calendar spring hit, it was like, poof.
Yeah, I even had made some kind of dumb comment where I was like, at this point in time in the year, snow wouldn't even be able to stick on the ground. And then I was wrong. I was very wrong. Which was too bad. And then, you did play tennis a couple weeks ago and hiked 7 miles the same weekend. That's a good hike. Speaking of good hikes... Oops, we don't want the title card. You were close. Oh, you were so sore. I forgot to, I had Earl Grey, by the way. Yeah, I can imagine. 7-mile walk. All right, folks, and our last letter for the evening is titled, Am I a jerk for calling my friend cringe for singing to her girlfriend? I have these 2 lesbian friends, and we'll call them Cindy and Ashley. Well, Ashley told me recently that Cindy had seemed really down, and she had been tight-lipped with Ashley as to why. Ashley wanted to take Cindy out to karaoke. Ashley is a very good singer, and she was a theater kid in high school and has years of vocal training and stage experience. Now, Cindy isn't a great singer, and she doesn't love to sing like Ashley does, but she does enjoy watching Ashley sing. I've never done karaoke before. I honestly think that it's kind of lame, but I figured that it can't be that bad, right? Well, later that week, we meet up with one of the other friends, and we'll call her Lydia. She isn't that important to the story, but she was also alone there. So Ashley gets up to do her first number, and I thought that she was going to sing something fun and upbeat to cheer up Cindy, but no. She sang Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand to Cindy. I kind of snickered at how cringe the whole thing was. Like, Ashley is a good singer, and she killed the song, but seriously, she should have done this in private. She always wants to be the center of attention, and so of course, rather than do this alone with Cindy, she took the opportunity to get the spotlight on her and perform for the whole crowd. I looked over at Cindy, and she had tears in her eyes, so I kind of snickered and said, I don't blame you for crying at how cringe the whole thing was. Well, both Layla and Cindy gave me the dirtiest look imaginable. And Cindy said, I don't even know why we hang out with you. You always ruin everything. I was really hurt by that, and I said that if I was really so bad that I could leave. Cindy just pointed to the door, and Layla nodded in agreement with her. I was really insulted and angered, so I did leave. I just figured that I would get an apology from them when everyone had sobered up and tempers had cooled. But it's been a week, and I haven't heard anything from them. So am I the jerk for my harmless joke about a totally cringy moment? Alright, folks, what do you think? Cringy? Not cringy?
Not cringy. That's adorable. The only person here who's being cringy is OP. Like, oh, how dare she show affection for her partner.
Yeah.
Like, what...
Who's feeling down, by the way.
Right. What Ashley did is totally, like, reasonable. It's not like she jumped up in the middle of, like, a shopping center or some other place where, you know, only in the movies people burst out in song. This was a karaoke place where you're supposed to get up and sing, and yeah, you kind of are the center of attention when you're singing because all eyes are on you.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like she, you know, OP is a bit jealous, you know, and maybe she's jealous of the relationship, not having that kind of love in her life or something like that, but she's not handling it well.
Well, and I think that also one of these situations is have a good one, Nico. I hope you have a good day. Yeah, I think that this is just a situation where OP is just bitter and jealous, and the only person who's being cringy is them. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But what does everyone else have to say?
Sakura says, you're the jerk. Buzzkill much. Amy Lynn says, yes, you're the jerk. I think that's cute what Ashley did for her girlfriend. Sakura says, a harmless joke, of course. And Amy Lynn says, OP needs to apologize, but it sounds like this isn't the first time OP has been rude. Yeah, it sounds like it's a general trend, and it sounds like the friends may have decided that they don't really want to be friends with OP anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what this boils down to. But I guess that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. As you can see, I have been errant in my duties, and I have not updated this, but our next live stream will be on the 26th of April. I hope you all had a good time today, despite or in spite of my stumbles. I was not on my best game today, let's put it that way. So I hope you all have a great weekend, and I hope everything goes well for you.
Yes.
So thanks so much for watching. Amber, do we have any kind of moral advice today? What's your moral advice for us?
I would say one moral advice is to treat other people with respect. Like, I feel like so many of these stories, like, if you just treat other people with respect and, like, don't call them cringe for being sweet, don't steal their stuff and throw it away, don't, like, cheat on them, like, so many stories could just be resolved with a bit more respect.
Exactly. And also, remember, always buy your partner fake rings and then do a heist.
No.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you all later. Happy Easter.